Hot Wheels World Race was a pretty decent racing game, but this game means more to me. Sure, this game doesn't have a movie, 4 sequels to said movie, and a pretty dedicated following like World Race does, but this was my first Hot Wheels game, the one that got me into Hot Wheels. It's one of the first video games I ever played on the PS2. You already saw it in my last video, but here's its proper introduction: Hot Wheels Velocity X. I absolutely love this game. I play it way more than World Race. I even prefer the box art. But is it better than World Race? I'll leave that discussion until later and leave that question up to you. But without further ado, let's play this game.
Rated everyone. Hot Wheels Velocity X. Available on PlayStation 2, GameCube, PC, and Game Boy Advance.
Released on a bunch of different dates, the game was developed by Beyond Games and published by our old friends
THQ.
Oh, THQ. You publish random gems and random turds. You're like a better LJN. Beyond Games is still around. Nowadays, they make mobile games. Good to see they're still kicking. There's not much background information about this game, other than the Game Boy counterpart made by Sapphire Games, which I also played and loved. This game differs from World Race in that there is a story mode, and not only that, it's a completely different style of racing game. It's a vehicular combat game. It's Twisted Metal colliding with Hot Wheels. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the presentation first. The movie that shows off before the menu is short and vaguely interesting. It's only 20 seconds long, and the background song for it is really quite boring. Yeah, unfortunately no 6 Smash Mouth theme this time. I honestly love the little boring song, but it's objectively void of any kind of musical passion. But when that game logo comes on the screen, it demands your attention. And that engine rev. Oh yeah, that gets my nostalgic juices going. The main menu is pretty simple, as these games are. I noticed on the PC version, there's no multiplayer, only on the consoles. The single player has a few options to choose from: the adventure mode / story mode, the challenge mode, drag racing, battle, and joyriding. I'll get to those modes in a second, but first I want to talk about the best part in this game: the cars. These cars are what I think when I imagine Hot Wheels. These are classic to me. What's really cool about them is that they are almost exactly the same as their real life counterparts, down to the rivets and Hot Wheels branding on the bottom of the car. The cover boy of this game, the first edition MST Suzuka, is one of my favorite Hot Wheels cars. Funny enough, for the longest time, I didn't know what the design on the hood said or meant. It says ET2, ET being the initials of the creator, Eric
Churn.
I honestly thought it was like a 7-Up brand logo or something. Okay, I need to move on or else I'll keep gushing about these cars. The maps themselves are fairly open and very distinct between each other, going from a city to a mountain pass to an underground sewer layer. I know these maps like the back of my hand because I played them so much, but also because there are only 5 maps. I'll be honest, I was struggling to decide what to talk about first since I can go on and on about this game. So let's go with the gameplay. Driving around in these cars feels interesting. Compared to World Race, it's almost the complete opposite. Rather than being planted on the ground like an F1 car, they feel more like rally cars. If every single car was driven by Colin McRae, you're barely in control half the time. You can perform flips in the air. This can build up your boost. Man, these cars are quite acrobatic. I love how when you land or go off ramps, fireworks go off. And look what happens when you double tap the gas button. Now that's a real Nitrous kit. How the cars react to their surroundings is just bizarre. The cars can dash left and right as an attack, but doing that in the environment or an enemy vehicle makes your car react in a multitude of ways. Don't even get me started on the Hypermite. Did you know this little monster has a bicycle seat, handlebars, and pedals inside? This game might as well be a video game representation of playing with the real Hot Wheels toys. You can switch your camera angles to a bumper cam, but I highly recommend against that or else. Oh my goodness. You might be wondering, this is a vehicular combat game, right? What weapons could possibly be in a children's racing video game? Well, I'll tell you.
These are really big guns.
Weapon roll call, we got James Bond style spiked wheels, redemption item from League of Legends, a fucking oil drum, screw the oil spill, just throw the whole drum at them, military grade Gauss cannon, permanent deafness, definitely not a minigun firing quote unquote yellow particles, liquid nitrogen bombs, shield, Acme rocket boosters, a weaponized Jacob's ladder, Magneton from Pokemon, and Doom discs. These weapons can be unlocked via the challenge mode before you start the campaign. You can also unlock some cars there too. The challenge mode has 18 challenges, ranging from time trials and time collectathons. Speaking of collecting, everyone that played this game remembers Challenge 14, right? Good times. The other modes aren't bad either. There's Drag Race, which is basically point A to point B sprint races, Battle, which is exactly what the name says it is, and Joyride, which is a free roam mode. And within the free roam mode, you can find 10 gears to unlock one car and a key to unlock another. The free roam is a mode I often go back to, as it's really fun to just explore the different maps in your favorite Hot Wheels cars. Another thing that I love is that they added a damage model. Amazing detail they put into this game. The music. Each map's songs are pretty unique. Do they match the level's setting? Not particularly. It's kind of weird that the Bay Area and a Snow Mountain level has these futuristic sounding pew pew songs, but they work well. But, and this is a big but, they all have this similar motif in each track. Listen. That obviously wasn't a coincidence. That was thought out and planned. Now here I was gonna say that this soundtrack was better than World Race, but after some thought, I really can't put to here nor there which soundtrack is better. I can't say that Velocity X has more character than the World Race soundtrack does, because someone's gonna like the World Race soundtrack more for this reason, and some people are gonna like Velocity X's soundtrack for another reason. I'm biased towards Velocity X's soundtrack more than World Race, and seeing those motifs in those tracks really elevated my opinion on Velocity X's soundtrack. If you like World Race's soundtrack, that's totally okay, because I really like it too, but I personally enjoy Velocity X just a little bit more. Now I would love to make a full video on music and how it affects these racing games, but I'll leave that for another time. But now it's time to get to the game's adventure mode. Buckle up everybody, this is gonna get long.